Hi Keshav here, welcome back. So in previous video we saw how do we create mount point for ADLS and have the data loaded from CSV file that is there in ADLS into Databricks. Alright, and also we saw how do we transform the data by using Databricks. We aggregated sales amount and tax amount by grouping with the required columns, that is order year, category name and color. Alright, we already created a couple of calculated columns like profit and also tax percentage. Alright, and finally we saw how do we create text box and how do we pass the value from text box into variable, and we already saw how do we refer that variable in SQL statement and how the data filtered based on the value that we are passing through text box. Alright, and finally we loaded the transform data back to ADLS by creating new CSV file. Alright, and this is the notebook that we created to transform the data and have transform data loaded back to ADLS. Alright, these are the high level steps. Let me just walk you through quickly. So I just imported required modules, and this is the point where I'm creating mount point. So purpose of mount point already I discussed in previous video. Please have a look into my previous video. I will paste the link in the description below so that you can use it for your reference. Alright, and here I am loading the data into Databricks by creating one data frame from the file product_sales.csv that is there in ADLS. Alright, I'm just here converting the order year from integer to string. That's fine. And here I'm grouping the data based on the columns those I required in my final data set based on order year, category and column, and summing up the total sales amount and tax amount. Alright, so if you observe here, it's generic sum. So what it does, it will just group the data based on the given columns here under group by it will perform the aggregate, that is sum for all the numeric fields. Okay, so we got two numeric fields, that is sales amount and tax amount, and once those are aggregated, then column names will be created like this: sum of sales amount, sum of tax amount. In this step what I did, I just renamed those columns to original name, sum of sales to sales amount, sum of tax to tax amount. That's it. In this step I am creating couple of calculated columns, that is profit I am creating as sales amount minus tax amount, and I'm just calculating tax percentage as well. Alright, that's it. Okay, then finally I'm just creating one temporary view by loading from df2 that I created in previous step. So this temporary view, in this step I'm just creating one text box, so by using dbutils, and this text box is created on top. If you observe here, category is the text box, and whatever the value that I am passing through this text box, I am just catching into one variable called category. Finally in the select statement I am just referring this variable called category and filtering the data based on the value that we are passing through the text box. That's it. Alright, in the final step we are just writing back to ADLS by creating new CSV file, that is transform_product_sales.csv file. Alright, here I am just going for options like mode equal to overwrite. In case if the file exists with same name, I want to just overwrite that file. That's it. So these are high level steps, those I am performing in this notebook. So in this video what I'm going to show you guys, I'll show you how do we execute this notebook through ADF and how the input value passed from ADF through parameter, and how data filtered based on the value that we are passing, and finally create a CSV file in ADLS. Alright, let's go ahead and create the pipeline for that. So before going ahead, I am just taking up this step because we already created mount point. If you try executing again, it will throw error saying that the mount point already exists. Alright, so from now onwards we no need to specify this complete connections. Mount point that we already created here, referenced here, that's it. We no need to create again. Alright, so that is the benefit of mount point. We no need to expose our account details to the world. So I'm just gonna take up this cell, that's it. So now let's go ahead and create a new pipeline. I already launched ADF. I'm gonna create new pipeline. So pipeline name, I'm gonna name it as execute Databricks. Alright, I'm gonna go to Databricks. Under Databricks we got activity called notebook. Just let me drag and drop it here. What happened? I don't know what is happening. Okay, let me just go ahead and create pipeline again. New pipeline. Execute. I'm gonna say exec notebook. Fine. Go to Databricks. Under Databricks, just pull notebook activity. So it's pretty simple. If you want to just name it as Databricks, maybe you can say Databricks notebook. Okay, let's go ahead and complete the settings. Under Azure Databricks, just let's go ahead and create link service for our Databricks. I'm gonna name it as ls_dbricks. Fine. Subscription, let me select workspace, that is KR Databricks demo. Then let me just go ahead and select exists. Let me just go ahead and use existing cluster. And access token, we need to pass access token. So this access token we need to generate in Databricks. Let's go back to Databricks, go to profile, under that user settings, just generate token. All right, same, you can just queue for your reference. Maybe I'll say for ADF generate. Let me copy this, go back to our ADF. I passed access token here. Now I should be able to see our cluster, that is KR demo. That's it. Let me just go ahead and test the connection. Yes, connection successful. Let's say create. That's it. It's been created. Now let's go to settings. Under settings, what we need to do, we need to browse our notebook. Go to users. Under users, go to your account. Under account, go to the notebook that we created, that is KR demo. All right, fine. Now we can pass the parameters here. Let's go ahead and create new parameter. So before that, let me create one parameter at pipeline level. Okay, go to parameters, say new. I'm gonna name it as category. For now I'm not passing any value, that's it. And let's go back to notebook again. Under this parameter section, let's go ahead and say new, name it as category. Okay, so this should be exactly the variable name that we created in our Databricks. Okay, so let's not do any mistake. Let's go ahead and copy from there. As you know that both variables and parameters, those are case sensitive. We need to refer them exactly how we created. All right, so let me copy this category and go back to ADF. Fine, and the value here we need to get dynamically from the parameter that we created at pipeline level, that is category. All right, fine, all done. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just say debug. That's it. Once I click on debug, it will ask you to pass the parameter value. So this time what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just say clothing. Okay, so whatever the value we are passing here, that is category name. Okay, you need to make sure the exact value is passing, otherwise you might end up loading blank values. Okay, there won't be any data loaded. Fine, say okay. Now let's wait for a few seconds until to get this notebook executed. It is in progress now. It might take a few more seconds. So once it is executed, we can directly go to ADLS and validate if data is loaded into CSV file or not. if data is loaded into CSV file or not. Alright, so first let me open that. Let me go to edit. Alright, now let's see. Yes, it is successfully completed, and also we could see data loaded for clothing. Alright, so now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just execute the pipeline again by passing different parameter value. Alright, say debug, and this time I'm gonna pass different category, that is caps. Alright, so I'm expecting data to be loaded for the category called caps this time. This time I'm expecting data to be loaded for the category called caps. Alright, go to ADLS, refresh. So let's not worry about these partitions. It is creating partitioned file, that's okay. Our notebook execution is in progress. Let's wait for a few more seconds. Alright, completed successfully. Completed successfully. Now let's go back to our ADLS and open the file. And this time I'm expecting data to be loaded for category name caps, right? So let's open it again. Alright, what happened? So let me refresh. Yep. Alright, see here, data is loaded for caps category. Alright, so this is how you can execute Databricks notebook in ADF and pass the value through the ADF parameters. Alright, so our notebook is dynamic now. What are the value we are passing through ADF? So what are the value we are passing through the pipeline? So for those category values, data will be loaded into CSV file in ADLS. Alright, I hope this is clear for you guys. So thanks for watching my video. Please do subscribe for more videos from my side on ADF and Databricks and also Power BI. We'll meet again in next video with a different concept. Until then, bye bye. Thank you.